before we get into the actual setups and stuff, did anyone trade all the Swissy pairs, or did anyone what did you trade? Just a couple of them? Is the rest of those Aussie pairs falling? Yeah, there goes the Aussie. Aussie pairs are dropping. Good GPT, that'll let us nice. So, okay, let's have a look. Aussie Swiss was a 15-minute breakout and retrace. Now, they've been breaking out a little bit earlier. You know, we always say it doesn't mean that it's going to happen that way forever. I mean, it might, but it's unlikely. We go through. It seems to go through stages, doesn't it? When you get Asia moves, sometimes you get the breakout early Asia. Sometimes it's Frankfurt, sometimes London. The US sessions move, but at the moment we are seeing some early breakouts. So we're still sticking to the rule of if it breaks out before Frankfurt, we need a retracement. I've been using a 15-minute chart for the month of June and doing quite well. So here's the break and the retest. Now let me activate Mr. Squiggle. So here's the breakout here and the retest. If you wait for a stochastic, it still gives you a nice entry. It hit the 618 and struggled there a bit. If it was a 15-minute chart, you'd watch for an opposing signal. That was it. But it's not. We look on the higher time frame. So we set our target at the 100, which is normal for us, and tagged it. But our target was just shy of it because there was a cluster here. So I called the target just down here at this lower level of the cluster. So if you're anywhere around here, you would have easily filled. I moved about 130 pips. I went beyond that up here, but I got out for 116 limit out on my platform. So anywhere around there, 100, 110, 120, whatever you got. That was an easy trade. It went all the way. This Aussie pair's dropping. Anyone riding this Aussie shorts? Is there a gap on the Aussie? Is that what's happening, or just decides to sell off? So 116 on the Aussie Swiss. Could be just what you were talking about, Graham. Could be happening. Well, we don't have to rush. If it wants to sell off, it'll set something up for us, so we'll finish doing what we're doing. The next trade was the Euro Swiss. The Euro Swiss was also a 15-minute breakout. You can see it didn't come back. It virtually gave no option. If you missed it on a 15, that's it. It didn't come back. So it broke out, come back, gave an entry, hit the 618. Okay, didn't make it to the 100. So when I got up Saturday morning before the US market closed, about 6:30ish, it had gone up and it just come back down. I just closed out my trade. I just closed it. Now, obviously, I would have made a few more pips if I had waited in, but I wasn't prepared to turn up Monday and the gap down here somewhere. So just simply closed out my trade Saturday morning for 123 pips. We had an initial target, so it was about another 40 odd pips. Also, something we talked about this morning was the size of these targets. Although I like to go for the 100, if the 618 is around about 100 pips, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to aim for that initial target, not the furthest one, because it's enough. It's you know, like the pound Swissy you'll see next, but sometimes that target is 160, 180, 200 pips away. Now the average daily range of these pairs is not always what that target is, so it's a little bit ambitious. And what I mean by that is, if the distance from our entry to 618 is around about 100, you know, I'd like to say at least 100 or greater, that will be our target, not the 100. Because it just might be a little bit ambitious on those days when that distance there exceeds the average daily range of that pair, if that makes sense. So, you know what I mean? If it's 200 pips away and this thing only averages 165, well, are we trying to, you know, are we being too ambitious? And I think yes, we are. Even though it's still a nice trade, don't get me wrong, 123 pips. I think we could just be happy limiting out for 100 instead of, you know, trying to squeeze every pip, every drop out of it. And, you know, these stops on these trades are small. You know, that was, I think I put in a 20 pip stop in the room, but really you only needed 15, 10, because the whole idea of them is to take off, not to come back and test it. So these stops can be tiny. There you go, that's perfect. Thanks for that, Dennis. ADR for the Euro Swiss is 102, so to try and get 160 out of it could be just, you know, I think it's been a bit ambitious. So we did well to get 123. Same thing, Saturday morning I got up, I was still in the trade, my target was up here. I remember seeing it before bed on Friday night. I saw it bounce off here and it was down here somewhere. I thought, you know what, that's what made me think about it. I thought, you know what, I should just be happy and put my limit there when it's around 100 and just be done with it. Lucky, I suppose, that the market just turned around, kept going, and Saturday morning about 6:30 before the market closed, I was up here and I just closed my trade out. Thanks for coming. So 123 on the Euro Swiss. Now the Pound Swiss was the same thing. This is what also made me think about it. Okay, did the same, it broke out, came back on a 15-minute and gave an entry. Now that there, right, is 120 pips. So that's 618, that's enough. That's plenty. Our target was about 200, I don't know, it was huge. 200 pips. So couldn't a Pound Swissy do it? Absolutely, yes it can, it's capable of it. But is it realistic to expect a 200 pip run over and over again? No, I don't think it is. So again, this would have been a perfect target of 120 pips. Again with a small stop, like a 20 pip stop. I use 30 just generically. My FX platform just defaults to 30 pips if I don't press anything, so I'm happy with that. It's still a 1 to 3, 1 to 4 trade. But you don't need it that big. You can actually, especially if you're GPT, you can say, right, I'm in there, that low 16 pips away, I'm going to call it 20, maybe spread 22 pips. I don't need to risk, you know, 30 or 40 pips. If this thing goes bad, I can actually save myself a little bit for the next trade. And that's also a bonus of using a smaller time frame chart to get in. Hit the 618 perfectly, came back for most of the night. Same thing Saturday morning, I got up and I was still in the trade and I just closed it out. You can see that line there where I closed each one I marked it the other day when I was sitting there. What's the ADR for the Pound Swissy, Dennis? It'd have to be up there around 200, wouldn't it? Really? 106? It seems awfully sluggish, doesn't it? The Euro's been doing better than that lately. The Euro's been moving huge moves. So on those 3 trades, that gives us a total for the night, and this is on one target, which is even better, of 370 pips for the Friday night. And let's be conservative. My stops that I put in myself, like they're smaller, I pick the right stop, but I use a 30 pip stop generically. I do tweak it, but that's my generic stop when I'm on a 15-minute chart. So what sort of risk to reward is that? How much have I made? Okay, like I said, I use small stop, but we're going to work on 30 here. What sort of units are made out of a night like that with a 30 pip? Give me an answer for a 30 pip stop. So 1 unit equals 1%. Okay, 1 30 pip stop equals 1 unit. So 1 30 pip stop equals 1% of my account. How much have I made just on those 3 trades alone? Ridiculous, isn't it? 12%. 12% ROI in 3 trades in one night. Is it worth getting it right? Is it worth trading and pursuing this style? No, Shane's not happy. You want 120% Shane. It is, isn't it? And that's why it is, because this doesn't happen every night, but it happens. We probably get 1 or 2 of them a month, I reckon. 1 or 2 days a month that deliver that sort of stuff. Now, if I didn't trade, that was the first day of July. If I don't trade for the rest of the month, would that'd still be a good return for July? It'd be in the middle of the doldrums, wouldn't it? So that's it, guys. I'm taking a month off. I'm packing the boat and I'm out of here, and I'll see you the 1st of August. And Shane's going to take the room. I'm only kidding. Unless you're up for it, Shane. Jeff, yes it is. It's just luck, isn't it? Pure luck. Definition of luck. So it is worth it, most definitely. The other trade that we were watching, now I did take this, but I'm not going to record it in the room because it wouldn't be fair, because on Friday I told everyone to wait for retracement, and it didn't retrace. I did get in early on my GPT account, just on the break, but I was being a little bit cheeky because I just had one of those, you know, when you have a feeling that the Swissy pairs are going to boogie. Well, that was Friday night, so I was like, well, you know what? If I lose this trade, it doesn't matter. So I banked 43 pips, but I'm not going to call that one in the room because it didn't retrace. Right? So just for those that might have taken it and haven't said anything yet, I did the same. I can highlight this arrow. Did anyone attempt the Swiss yen? See, it broke out. It broke out, but didn't come back. And I remember saying in the room, wait for a retracement. It never did. It didn't perform fantastically. It was still positive. Saturday morning, I closed out, and it was 43 pips for about a 20 pip stop. So it's still a 1 to 2. We won't worry about that one. We won't claim it. Oh, you did. Well done, Jeff. Good con. Just, there's that luck striking again, Jeff. $16 pip stop, yeah, very nice. So you're still in, Pete. You're up about 40 pips on a 16 pip stop. So you're still yeah, it's great. So you're below Swiss yen. Why did I mark that in? I think the Swiss yen gave me some alarm bells this morning for a long. But you're breaking below. I'll show you what I'm looking at. I revised my measured moves, and you've hit the 100. But you just that green line is the measured move. I changed the colour so you can see it easier. So it needs to drop here. If you can break below and keep it for resistance, I think you're laughing. I think you'll be able to test, you know, maybe the 618 from there to there, somewhere here. Well, there's the daily now. It's still short, but it's in that area where it could roll, isn't it, Con? That's what I thought. I actually marked it in my diary and thought, well, if I get divergence here, a nice double bottom, I might attack this thing for a long. But at the moment, it's not doing that. It's still shorting. So until that happens, we'll keep an eye on it though. You've just dobbed yourself in as Swiss Yen Watchman, Con. Thanks for that. And there was one thing I wanted to share with you that I was speaking with Graham Owen this morning. Now, he said, have a look at the Dow. And instead of me showing you, someone pick it, except for you, Graham, of course. Have a look at that chart. Tell me what you see. Tell me what could be on the cards here. Now, it's gapped up. Okay, it's gapped up. I can give you that much information. But let's see how much homework people have done, or how on the ball we are for Monday, which is not that easy. This could have a massive effect on the market this week. So Pete's seeing a head and shoulders. There. You're waiting for this to form. Yep, I'd have to say if that rolls over, right, you've got yourself fantastic head and shoulders. But what else? And this is sort of when Graham said this, the alarm bells went. Oh no, Aussie News. Am I going to make it?